Let's start from a place most people avoid, the truth. You were molded to be available, taught to smile even when you wanted to scream, trained to respond even when silence was your truth, conditioned to explain yourself, justify your choices, and stay open to people who never deserved access to you. And worst of all, you accepted it, like it was normal. But let me ask you something. What has that openness really given you? Peace? Number power? Not even close. All it's done is turn you into a puppet on emotional strings, reacting to every glance, every comment, every passive-aggressive word. People push your buttons because you let them, because those buttons are exposed, unguarded. That's the problem. And here's the solution. Become unreachable. Not by building walls around yourself out of fear, but by choosing when, how, and if you let people in. This isn't about running away. This is about rising above. It's not about detachment. It's about self-mastery. You see, every time you react without control, when you explode, defend yourself, rush to explain your side, you hand over your power. Every word, every justification is a leak in your foundation. But silence? Silence is sharp. It doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're calculated. Mystery? It's not indifference. It's gravity. It pulls people in. There are people who walk into a room and shift the entire atmosphere without saying a word. Why? Because they know the value of being unreadable. They don't trade their inner world for temporary attention. They don't perform for approval. They own their space without having to shout. And that's where true strength lives. The less you offer, the more curious the world becomes. Humans are drawn to what they can't control, to the unknown, to the ones who don't dance for applause. So when you choose to become unreachable, you step into a space of dominance. Calm, quiet dominance. You stop explaining yourself. You stop clinging to what doesn't serve you. You stop needing to be understood. Let go of the job that drains you, the relationship that suffocates you, the narrative that keeps you small. Let go of the urge to always make sense of everything. Some things don't deserve your time, your effort, or your words. You don't need to be validated to be valuable. You don't need to be accepted to be powerful. You know why? Because those who judge you have already written their version of your story. They're not listening for facts. They're hunting for confirmation. Let them. Don't feed the fire. Don't explain your intentions. Let time do the talking. In a world addicted to noise, silence is authority. In a world obsessed with being seen, invisibility is influence. Being present doesn't mean being everywhere. It means being unforgettable when you choose to show up. Stop dragging your emotions across every conversation. Stop reacting to every gesture. The more you respond, the more you dilute your energy. This isn't emotional distance. It's emotional maturity. There is nothing noble about being emotionally accessible to everyone. The person who reacts to everything lives at the mercy of the world. The one who chooses their responses, they run the show. That's sovereignty. Self-control isn't suppression, it's freedom. It's choosing to walk away before you're pulled into chaos. It's deciding to stay quiet even when your ego screams. It's protecting your peace instead of proving your point. You don't need to argue to win. You don't need to speak to be heard. And when you stop reacting, the game changes. Suddenly, the people who once pulled your strings are lost. The ones who thrived on your chaos find no audience. Those who expected you to crumble, they're left talking to your absence. You, meanwhile, move forward in peace. But here's the hard truth. To reach that place, you have to go through something intense. Detachment. You have to let go of needing love that comes with conditions, of needing to be seen, praised, explained. You have to choose peace over being liked. Because the moment you stop chasing validation, you become unreachable. Set boundaries that don't need to be announced. Live them. Embody them. And yes, people will fall away. Let them. They weren't losses, they were weight. Stop carrying emotions that aren't yours. You are not here to be a dumping ground for people who refuse to grow. Be ruthless with your energy. Give it only to what expands you, not to what drains you. Mystery, silence, restraint. These are not weaknesses. They are the traits of someone who no longer needs to prove their worth. That inner stillness, it's magnetic, but it can't be forced, it can't be faked. It's built from the pain of choosing yourself when it would be easier to perform for the crowd. It's born from saying no to chaos, no to provocation, no to anything that shakes the foundation you've built. When someone tries to bait you, don't bite. Silence is power. Not playing the game? That's how you win. Not offering explanations? That's how you guard your soul. This isn't about being above anyone. It's about being rooted in yourself. Unreachable people aren't hiding. They're choosing what gets in, choosing what affects them, choosing who has access. Because they understand that access is sacred. And if someone dares cross that line without permission, silence. Not because you're angry, but because you are no longer available to be disturbed. That's the real victory. Being unreachable isn't arrogance, it's self-mastery. And if you've made it this far, you feel it, don't you? That quiet pull inside you that says, I'm done being controlled by everything around me. Good. Because the next layer goes deeper. The energy you carry when you master yourself is unmistakable. People feel it before you speak. It's in your posture, your timing, your gaze. Neediness is loud, it leaks. But presence, real presence, that's quiet power. And when people sense that you don't need them to feel whole, something shifts. They respect you more. Being unreachable also means being discerning. Not everyone should know your thoughts. Not everyone gets to see your heart. Reserve your truth for the worthy. When you overshare, you diminish your own value. When you're always available, you become forgettable. Emotional distance doesn't mean disconnection. It means maturity. Learn to be alone without fear. Learn to say no without guilt. There's a massive difference between solitude and loneliness. One is power. The other is need. Choose wisely. Your silence will speak louder than words ever could, especially when someone expects chaos and gets nothing. Especially when they want control and find calm. You know what that does? It disarms them. But let's take it one step further. You know that version of you who's always performing, always trying to keep the peace? That's not you. That's the costume you put on to survive. And maybe it served a purpose. But if it no longer reflects who you are, let it go. Because authenticity has a cost. But the cost of staying fake is far higher. It's silent, but it's constant. Letting go of that act will cause some people to disappear. Let them. Because what remains is real. What remains is solid. And from that place, you build. Every time you choose not to engage with drama, every time you step back instead of step in, you reinforce your identity. People notice, they respect it, they feel it. So ask yourself, what are you willing to lose in order to become untouchable? Because becoming unreachable isn't about building barriers, it's about building inner clarity. It's not about avoiding life, it's about showing up for your life. And that clarity is worth more than all the applause in the world. Now let's address something few talk about: the difference between self-control and suppression. This isn't about swallowing your truth. It's about knowing when your truth is worth speaking. Repression comes from fear. Self-control comes from power. One makes you bitter, the other makes you grounded. Learn the difference. The person who stays silent from fear builds resentment. But the one who stays silent with intention, they build strength. And that's where the secret weapon comes in: active patience. The most powerful people you know, they wait. They don't react. They calculate. They don't seek revenge. They rise. They know time reveals more than words ever could. Impulse gets loud. Wisdom gets quiet. Hold your silence when your ego screams. Hold your ground when your emotions shake. That's your real strength. Manage your value like a vault. Time, energy, emotion, their currency. Spend them wisely. Not everyone deserves your presence. Not everyone can handle your truth. When you give too much to those who earn nothing, you devalue yourself. And here's the thing: being present is powerful, but being always available, that's dangerous. The one who's always around fades into the background. The one who appears with purpose, they're unforgettable. Don't fear being unavailable. Fear becoming drained. Emotional dignity is knowing you don't have to chase closure or explanations or apologies. You don't owe your peace to anyone. Surround yourself with people who respect your silence, who understand that when you go quiet, it's not punishment, it's protection. And when you learn to reject what doesn't align with you, even when it looks good on the surface, you gain a whole new power. That's when being unreachable becomes liberation. Because you're no longer ruled by who stays or who leaves. Your worth isn't up for negotiation. You are no longer a wound looking for comfort. You are now a force rooted in calm. And from there, you don't chase. You attract, you don't explain, you embody, you don't react, you reign. And that, my friend, is the beginning of a new you. The world may never fully understand it. They may not get your silence. Just live it.